Today I want to show you what I think is one of the best tools out there for analyzing your Google Search Console and your Google Analytics data for your blog. That's the P24 dashboard at p24dashboard.com. Hi, my name's April, and at Bloggers on the Rise, I share the tips and tricks that I've used to grow 2 blogs to over 100,000 page views per month. So the P24 dashboard, P24 stands for Project 24, and if you don't follow the guys over at Income School already, Jim and Ricky, you're going to want to do that just as soon as you're done with this video. It's a really great channel, and the program that they teach, the course that they offer, is called Project 24, and that is actually the course that I use to grow these blogs to over 100,000 page views. Now, I do want to make a disclaimer that I am an affiliate for both Project 24 and for the P24 dashboard, but the P24 dashboard was not created by the guys at Income School. It was actually created by a Project 24 member. Okay, so now that we're done with that housekeeping, at the top when you log in, you're going to have your planned feature improvements. All kinds of cool stuff is coming. I think at least half of these I've submitted feature requests for. That's one of the great things about the developer over there, is that he is absolutely willing to take ideas and get them implemented fairly quickly. We're in what's called stealth mode, which means that we can't see I have that checked. That means you can't see my data. It's a feature that I requested that they implemented so that I could share this tool with you, but also so that when you use the tool, you can share it on YouTube too, or you can share it with your friends. So it's really great. It also means that you can't see my data, which is the whole point. So we have my websites are already loaded in, and that is the one thing that you're going to have to do, is load in your websites, load in your Google Search Console, hook up your Google Analytics, and then also, if you have an existing blog with a bunch of posts, you're going to need to import that data, right? So typically you'll do that by like RSS import is what I did. RSS is a premium feature, but you get a 2-week free trial, so it kind of works out to get you set up. So you can have multiple websites like you see here. If you don't hook up Search Console and Analytics, you can still use the tool, but just in a very limited capacity. So where this tool really shines is how, at least for me, is how it looks at Analytics and Search Console. So that's what I'm primarily going to cover today. But if you'd like to learn more about it or want me to do another video covering some of the other features, leave a note in the comments and I'd be happy to do that at a later date. So you can change the date range. You can also change whether you're looking at sessions, page views, that kind of thing. And this is changing the graph, right? It's not changing this on the left. This is tied to the date range. So if we go organic, that's my organic traffic graph. And if we do 7 days, then we'll see my last 7 days values here. So what's great is this allows you to quickly take a peek at your site and how it's doing. Like we can see here, I was doing good, and then we've had kind of a drop here, which again, I like to look at the 30-day view because over the grand scheme of things, that wasn't a big drop. What is a huge drop is this one here. We can see we went from 4,200 all the way down to 2,500. But just from knowing my sites, this is a pin that went viral, more than likely. And then let's look at organic and see if we have that same drop. Yeah, so organic's much more steady, but it's all good. And then these are smaller sites that are up and coming. So this is great general information. You also get your content breakdown. Now the Project 24 method teaches response posts, staple posts, and pillar posts. And then it shows you, which is basically post length on a very basic basis. And then it shows you how many posts of each. So we have 252 posts. The maximum maturity is under 66 months, 24 staple posts, 12 pillar posts, for a total of 288 posts on this site. For this site, we have 61 response posts, 2 staple posts, 2 pillar posts, and this site's only 11 months old, so they're all under 12 months old. So for the deeper analysis, you can click into the site, and this is where it really shines. So there's 2 pages that I really like, and I'm going to show them both to you today. One is the snapshot view. This tells me I have 65 total posts. It kind of gives me a cool little graph on my breakdown as far as post length. And then we can see how old each of those posts are. So I know I've got 6 that are 0 to 1 month old, 7 that are 1 to 2 month old, etc. This is very helpful because we have a general idea that posts need at least 6 months to rank on Google, which means that these ones are probably starting to rank and these ones are still probably haven't gotten Google's attention yet. That's not always the case, but it still helps to know as far as how they're coming along. The other thing that is really cool, and I use a lot to play with numbers, and I'll show you how I do this calculation, is the average page views for posts 6 months or older. You can change this date range. So if I change it to 12 months, you're going to see it's all 0 because the site's only 11 months old. If I change it to 9 months, it's going to be lower. 6 months, it goes a little higher. And then 3 months, because of that viral post I mentioned, it's going to go really high, which isn't an accurate number. My average page views per post isn't 3,000. That's just one post that's getting a ton of page views. So let's say we use the 6-month value here. We're going to have average page views per post of 833. So let me show you how I do that calculation real quick. Okay, so to do this calculation, we're going to take our average page views per post, which we know is 833 for this example. We're going to take our desired monthly income. This could be whatever you want it to be. Maybe you want to earn $30,000 a month. I don't know. For this quick demonstration, $1,000 seemed relatively easy enough. And then we also need to know our RPM per page views. So RPM is rate per milli. So it's the rate per 1,000 page views. So it's not RPM per 1,000. I don't want any sticklers hitting me up and saying, I don't know what that means. I do know what it means. So it should just be the rate per 1,000 page views. For the purpose of this demo, we're going to say that's 12 bucks. If you know your actual RPM, you can plug in that value. If you're not monetized yet, you can kind of use an estimate based on what other people are getting in your niche. A word of advice to you is use a lower number. That way you'll come out with a higher number of posts needed and are more likely to hit your goal once you've finished writing all of those posts. So now we need to calculate how much each post earns us per month. And we do that by taking 833, the average page views per post, dividing it by 1,000, and then multiplying it by our RPM, because our RPM is already the rate per 1,000. So 833 divided by 1,000 times our RPM. This means that each post that earns 833 visitors with a $12 RPM earns $9.99 for the blog. We're going to round that up and call that 10. So each post that brings in 833 page views at a $12 RPM should be earning $10 per month. Using that value, we can now extrapolate approximately how many posts we need to write in order to hit our $1,000 per month goal. That's easy math for most of us. 1,000 divided by 10 is 100. 100 posts are needed to reach the $1,000 per month revenue goal if we get 833 page views per post and if we get a $12 per post RPM. So now that you have this estimated value to hit your goal, you can get to writing. That's a cool calculation, right? All right, let's go into my next favorite spot, and that is the traffic analysis, and specifically the traffic change analysis. Now again, the traffic change analysis is a premium feature. You get a 2-week free trial. After that, it's up to you if you want to pay for the tool or not. There is a free version, so you can downgrade. You don't have to call anybody or send anybody an email. You just do it right in your account settings. But this is by far my favorite thing to play with. So let's go over what it has. By default, you're going to show 10 entries, but you can change that. And I typically expand it all the way out to 100. Just because I like them all on the same page. You can change the time frame for the last 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, which is really a cool feature. And then you have your post data, and this is where I see the most value. So each item, each column, you can sort using these little sort values. I'm not going to do that, but you could do that. And so that's really helpful because you can quickly sort the highest changes to the top or the lowest changes to the top for any category. So you're going to have your post slug. And again, I'm in stealth mode, so that's masked out what category it's in. The post type, was it pillar post, staple post, response post? The word count of the post, how old the post is. And again, you can sort by all of these so you can kind of see how they're doing. Like this post, for example, I can right away see that it's a 2,000 word post, 10.4 months old, so it's one of my oldest posts, 2 page views in the last 30 days. That means this post has absolutely tanked, and at 10 months old I need to reevaluate if I just completely missed the search query or what happened there. You're going to see your current page views, previous periods page views, so this is last 30 days, this is the 30 days before that. The percent change. Keep in mind that the smaller the previous page views, this number can get out of whack, right? So I have put in a feature request to allow you to kind of filter out some of these smaller ones, like 2 to 13. Yeah, it's a 550% increase, but who cares, right? But what is cool is this one here went from 67 page views to 3,800. So that's awesome. And same thing on the organics. 250 to 761, that's awesome. And again, look, these posts are just coming up to be 5.5, almost 6 months old, which is about when Google likes to start picking up posts for whatever reason. Your organic page views, the previous page views for the time period, the percent change, and then your Google Search Console rankings. So are you moving up in the SERPs, you're going down in the SERPs, and that's just an average ranking. If you want to look into further detail at a specific post, so let's take a look at this one here. We can click on it. And now we have some more information about this one specific post that we can further look at. So we're going to have our URL, our SEO title, which again was pulled from the RSS import, the date it was published, how old it is, what category it's in, the post type, the word count. If you fill in the post style, this is a manual field, I don't fill it in. Last updated, estimated competition and search volume. Again, these are fields that you can manually fill in for each post. I don't. The writer, if you want to track your writing costs in here, you can do that as well. You have, again, your basic information, your click-through rate. So my click-through rate's only 2% on this, but I'm still doing pretty good. Your average rank in Google search, your time on page for this period and then the previous period, organic sessions, etc. We can look at our traffic over time, see how it's growing. In fact, if I want to, actually, we said this was almost 6 months old. We can see how this post is just doing. Here's probably when it was published, and then now it's taking off. And then this is my favorite here. So when I'm looking, before I used this tool, I used to use Search Console to find extra keywords to write about. The great thing about the P24 dashboard is not only do I have all this cool analytics and the percent change and all of that great stuff where I can identify problems very quickly for my sites, I can also come in and quickly find new queries to write about. So when you're not in stealth mode, you can see these queries and you can see, okay, are they what this post is about? And if they're not what this post is about, should I write about it? So what I'll typically do is sort by impressions, highest to lowest. And then I'll go down systematically and see, okay, high impressions means that Google is showing this post to people that search for this query. But that doesn't mean that they match. So if they don't match, and I have a high number of impressions for a query that doesn't match my post, what that tells me is that Google's grabbing at straws. Google doesn't have enough answers to that query, so it's starting to show my post, which is kind of tangentially related but not exactly on topic, because it doesn't have anything better to show. So if that happens, I'll go ahead and add it to the hit list, and then I'll go and still do my keyword research, but 9 times out of 10 that is a post that I should write, and if I write it, I'll actually get a better ranking because it matched exactly. I'll caveat that to say that if this post is ranking top 10 for that term, I typically won't write it, unless I really think I could kill it and get the 1 or 2 spot. But if for example, I'm ranking 15, which is page 2, I'm absolutely going to write it if I think it's a good term. So that's how I use the P24 dashboard. It's a really cool tool. You can sign up at p24dashboard.com. I do have an affiliate link in the description of this video, so I'd be super happy if you decided to use that, since obviously you learned some cool stuff about the tool with this video. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to get notifications. That way you can be updated every time I post new videos. If you have any questions, please be sure to leave them in the comments below. I will try to get back to everybody. Thanks again, have a great day, and happy blogging.
Like a bird on a tree.